In this screencast, we're going to look at how can we calculate a total using a loop. So we're going to create a new project, and within that project, when the A button is pressed, we're going to calculate the total of the numbers between 0 and 20. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And then when the B button is pressed, we're going to calculate the total of the odd numbers between 5 and 17. So we'll go to makecode.com and create a new project. So we have a new project here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable, and the variable I'm going to create is going to be called total. So I have a new variable called total. Now I'm going to go to input and I'm going to say on button A pressed. And when the A button is pressed, I'm going to bring in a loop. So I'm going to use two different loops here. I'm going to use a for loop for the button A pressed, because remember I'm going from 0 to 20 in that one. So I'm going to just pull that across. And then when it comes to the button B, I'm going to use a while loop. So here I've got for index from 0 to, and I'm going to change the 4 to 20. So we've got our indices working correctly. And then what I want to do is I want to change the value of total. So I'm going to go to variables and I'm going to set total to, and then I need to go into math and I need to find the plus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the total to the value of total as it currently is, which to start off we're going to set it to 0. And then plus what I need to add in is I need to add in the index of the loop. So if I go to loops here, if I go to variables here, the index is here, so I'm going to pull that across. So what's going to happen is the first time round, we're going to have total as 0. Now actually to do that, I'm going to just get rid of that forever for a second. And in the on start, I'm going to set the value of total to 0 to make sure that I'm starting off with the correct value. So here I'm setting total to 0. So I have total set to 0. The first time round the loop, the index is equal to 0. So I'm just going to set total equal to 0 plus 0. So that's just going to be 0. The next time round index is going to be 1. So I'm going to set total equal to 0 plus 1. So the total now will be 1. Come round again, index is 2. So I'm going to set my total, which is 1, to total, which is 1 plus the index, which is 2. So now my total is going to be set to 3. The next time around the index is 3, so I'm going to set total equals to 3 plus 3, which is 6. And as you can see now, it'll just keep on going until it falls out the other end. So what I want to do then at the end is I want to show my number, and I want to show number, and sorry, if I go to variables here, I can pull across total. So let's press the A button and see what actually happens here. So it's showing it as 210. So if we add all of the numbers between 0 and 20, it will show a total of 210, which is correct. Now, if I then go back and just restart it again and click the A button, it'll show 210 again. So we might need to put in a reset of the total here, because if I click the A button now again, it's showing me 420, and the reason for that is I'm not resetting my total. If I click it again, it's showing 630 and so on. So it might be, and I think some of you had issues with this in your first week assessment, so maybe instead of in the on start setting total to 0, we're just going to put it in here and take out the on start altogether. So now every time we press the A button, it resets the total and it shows the correct value of 210. So that's that very first one, where we're just literally taking an index and adding it on to the total value. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to on button B pressed, and this time I'm going to use a while loop. I'm going to reuse the total this time again. So I'm just going to go to my variables here. I'm just going to reset my total again so I can reuse it again. And then I'm going to go into loops, and this time I'm going to use a while, and I'm going to create my own index here, or my own condition. So sorry, just here it's grayed out again. I just need to make it on button B. Now it's not grayed out anymore. And then I need to go into logic. So I'm saying here while, well, what am I checking? I need to set up an index variable again. This time I'm just going to create a variable called number that I'm going to use as my index for this particular loop. So I'm going to click on OK there, and now I've got a number, so I'm going to do set number 2. Now remember, in this one I'm going to set the number to 5 because I'm looking for the total of every odd number between 5 and 17. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to set number to 5, and then I'm going to say while number is, and instead of less than, I'm just going to say less than or equal to this time. So I'm saying while number is less than or equal to 17, so once it becomes greater than 17, it's just going to drop out, and that's exactly what I wanted to do. But what do I want to do? I want to set my total again, to go to variables. So I want to set my total to, and I'm just going to put in my total there for a second. And then I'm going to set it equal to my number, sorry, my total, plus the number, which is my index here. So the first time in, my total is going to be 0. And then I'm going to set the total to 0 plus 5. The next time round, the number is going to be 7, so it's going to be setting the total to 5 plus 7, which is 12, and so on. So what I need to do now is I need to remember that I want to add 2 on this time, because remember I need every odd number. So I'm going to have to move my number on by 2. So set number to, sorry, it's in the math, and I want to set it equal to number plus 2. So now I want to show my total, so I'm going to show number, and I'm going to go to variables, and I'm going to just show my total. Now what we should get is 77, because if you add every odd number between 5 and 17, you should get 77. So let's see if that works. Now what I've done is I've actually put the show number in the wrong place. I've put it within the loop. So if I just click it again, it's showing 5 as the first total, then 12, then 21, then 32, then 45, then 60, and finally 77. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull the show number outside of that, and I'm just going to click the B button again, and it just shows the 77. You can put in the show number within the loop, but you need to know what you're doing and just make sure that that's what it's supposed to be. So what I've done here is I've shown you how you can calculate totals, either just going up in ones, which we've done on the A button pressed, or going up in twos from a particular number in the on B button pressed. So that's just, I suppose, just to help you if you're having some trouble with calculating totals within loops. Hopefully you'll find this useful.